of opportunities that tech provides in there. And then for those of you who have been around for the keynote speaker's address, she did talk about some of the ideas around blockchain, what people are using in there. So I want to start. With you, Modele. We've heard a lot today. And we've also heard a lot today about cultural biases and discriminatory practices that happen. But how can we really take advantage of real estate opportunities using tech? So when we talk about things like prop tech, which we've heard about today, why don't you give this one? Yeah. So how do we take hold of the opportunities that are available in real estate and tech, given the biases and everything that we've heard of today?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really delighted to be here today. So I believe these biases, these cultural biases and stereotypes really started when we were younger, from our school and even at home as well. I remember when I was in school, there were certain subjects that were more associated with boys, like technical drawing and engineering. And then with women, the food and nutrition and home economic classes, and even at home, you find among siblings, females were more required to, perform domestic chores than boys. And we find that, these arts start to define us as women, and we start to form a bias in our own minds as well, and then we start to harness the perception that, women should be less interested in certain fields and subjects. And by the time we get to uni, we're not, we've already decided not to pursue degrees in some of these fields like real estate and tech as well. And so, the bias continues even when you get to a certain age. The hot question is, when are you getting married? No one is asking you, when do you intend to make partner, or when do you intend to be a co-founder or a founder, or when do you plan to do your MBA? And it just continues, and this unconscious biases, I think, has also contributed to, the underrepresentation in real estate and in tech, right? And, it goes on and on, really. However, I feel like, as more women like ourselves, start to take on some of these roles, and show that it can be done and prove that it can be done, by supporting each other, providing mentorship as well. It will inspire more women, to come into real estate as well, and then we can start to build a pipeline, more women in real estate and tech.
Thank you, Modele. That was a good intro into the technology side of real estate, because, as you said, if you don't deal with the mind and also create opportunities for women to support each other and be examples, nothing will happen. Stepping on to my next question to you, Folusho. Earlier on we heard about prop tech. So let's deal with that. What is prop tech really, and how can we take advantage of prop tech to bridge that gender gap, wealth gap when it comes to real estate in that sense?
All right, good afternoon again, everyone. It's a real pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. So prop tech is exactly what it says. It's property and technology, which is essentially how do we use technology to improve, the whole space of real estate, property, and all of that. I mean, is there anybody in this room that doesn't have a banking app on their phone? Anyone? All of you have banking apps? Yeah, sure. You don't have one? One out of 10. So we are like an outlier, so we'll talk later. But the point I'm making here is that all these terms sound very fancy, but they are not really as fancy as they really sound. It's really simple. How do we solve problems within the sector using technology? And there's so many different examples. I'm not going to go too extreme and talk about things like AI and all of that, because I think that let's even take one small step forward before we go so far. Because for some people in this room, that might sound like, those things are scary. But I think that what we can really start with is mentorship, and I'm going to give you the reason why. So there's a lovely young lady that spoke to me. I'm assuming that she's young, and she's better than me. And she's a lady that is in technology, and she came up to me and we were talking. And I think many of us here need to have cross mentorship. There's many of you here that are very experienced. You have a lot of corporate or business experience, and there's a lot of young women out there who they know technology. Do you understand? So why don't we just put them under our wing, ask them to help us with research, ask them to give us ideas about things that we can do, because they have it as an expertise. I always say that so many of us here have young children, younger people. They aren't necessarily smarter than all of us. They just have technology. They were born in the digital age. So the things that you and I had to go to the library and go and be looking for books for, all they need to do is twinkle their fingers and they have it, right? Yeah. So it's not about anybody being smarter than you and you being afraid of technology. It is a tool. My phone is useless if I put nothing in it, right? Your banking app is useless if you don't use it. It's just on your phone taking up space. So I'm just trying to get to the point where we all realize that we actually shouldn't have a fear of technology, because I think that's the major issue that many women have. When you hear technology, you're like, I don't know. Many women tell me, I'm not even on social media. Those things my children are doing, I don't know what they are. No, please stop saying those things. Find simple solution. I'm not going to talk too much. There are many young ladies in this room. They know how to do those things. Just smile at some of them. Say, hello, lovely young lady. Do you know technology? I know this. And we get together and be friends. And don't buy them lunch. You understand? Give them things. They have to go to the gym. The point is, you can give yourself a nice cross-mentorship relationship. Yeah. You are pouring into them, they are pouring into you, and we live in a happy world. Amen.
Thanks, Michelle. The interesting thing about it, earlier on in Deborah's panel, so some of the things we talked about, investments, and the lady that was talking about opportunities. Not everyone is open to opportunities, but do you know that you can actually do things like crowdfunding? Do you know that that's part of it? That's part of technology in wealth. You can do things like finding. So when people have opportunities, maybe you have an opportunity to buy land, or you're looking for funding or something along those lines. Apart from the crowdfunding, you can do it in blocks, in units. Like create things that people can actually have, and in there you can use technology to even wealth management. Did you know that you can use we talk about things like savings in there. So I'm into capital markets, and we see all sorts of products that come up. But guess what? As women, because we understand our psyche, which is, I want to go to my next question for modeling, because we know our psyche, we actually need women who understand these things in technology and wealth and real estate to actually create products that would appeal to women and deal with those fear factors, or sort of the things that appeal to us in that sense. So that brings us to my next question. So we've talked about Felicia talked about PropTech. I talked a little bit about it. So what opportunities in PropTech do we have? How can we encourage more women to pursue careers in real estate using PropTech? So the things that you've seen happen given your work.
All right, thank you for that. So like Felicia said, PropTech is simply enabling real estate using technology. So when you start to automate processes in real estate and real estate services, you're creating potential opportunities for innovation. And then at that point, the opportunities become endless. So for example, at Construct, we're in the construction space, and we're using technology to enable the construction space, and we do that by cutting costs in construction and driving efficiency in the procurement process. And there's so many other sectors in real estate that tech can be used to solve problems. Facility management. Yep. You touched on crowdfunding. You're able to invest in real estate by purchasing fractional pieces in real estate if you can't afford to buy the entire thing. The rental space is also there's high demand for that as well. There are opportunities for you to invest in shared spaces, and for you to there are also monthly options for you to pay for rent monthly as well. So the opportunities are enormous, and there's a lot of room for new players to come in as well. One of the advantages of technology and technology in general, even regards to the industry is usefulness, is that it doesn't recognize gender, right? The moment you start to automate processes, you're replacing the human elements that breeds bias, right? And by doing that, you're breaking any gender walls or any biases, and that's encouraging in itself. But there are also funding opportunities. If you're looking at coming to the PropTech space, particularly for women as well. So it's a lot more easier now for women to decide to start businesses and attain financial independence. We're starting to see more women women-focused initiatives and VC funds now coming up, and they're empowering women by, giving them access to funding opportunities, to networking opportunities, and partnerships and mentorships as well. We have the likes of Rising Tide, we have the likes of She Included. They're doing they're advocating for women, and even even other VC funds that are not particularly women focused, they are also becoming big on diversity and inclusion. They're starting to, we find that their investment pillars are starting to include the need for you to show that your core values are big on diversity and inclusion. They're starting to ask questions like, what's the percentage of women in your team? They're starting to ask from your C-suite team what percentage are women as well. So that's also encouraging. But even beyond all of that, I feel like the best way that we can encourage more women to come into the industry is by showing support to the industry. And that includes being intentional about sharing awareness about what is happening in prop tech, adopting the products, actually using the products that are being developed, giving validation to the products, and then patronizing, some of the women-focused and women-led businesses. We have the likes of Go Smart Value, for example. They are focused on providing insights for valuable insights for you to make real estate investment decisions. We have the likes of Yalo. They are focused on prioritizing women by giving them rental loans. Women that can't afford to pay their rent annually, they prioritize women and give them, they participate for loans monthly as well. There's a lot happening that is, focused on advocating for women. So I believe if us in the industry, the moment we start to show other women that if they come into the industry, they'll get support, they'll get mentorship, they'll get adoption, and even, by leveraging platforms like WWR, where we're sharing our success stories, that will encourage more women, to come into the prop tech space.
Thank you so much, Bodege. I hope we heard all this